Hey guys, it's Sara with Hearth Home Designs, and if you're looking for a last-minute stocking stuffer or white elephant gift, I've got you covered. But before we get started, I should let you know, offensive cross-stitch is one of my favorite things. There's something about the combination between pretty hand-stitched flowers and direct-to-the-point messages never fails to make me laugh. So with that in mind, let's take a look at a quick and easy way to say goodbye to 2020.
As always, start by inputting your stock size into the job setup. Don't forget to adjust the stock thickness. You can also adjust the background grid spacing in Document Background. Creating an oval in Carbide Create may seem confusing if you're just getting started, but it's easy. Start by creating a circle, and then under the Edit Mode section, select Node Edit. Then just drag the nodes to the desired size and shape. I imported an SVG border by selecting the Import External File option in the Import section. You can tinker around with the dimensions and the placement of the SVG until you're happy with the look. To create the bottom border, I just copied the top and then did a horizontal and then a vertical flip of the image. I wanted the text to be a fancy script, but while still being legible, so I selected Christmas Wish Calligraphy. After laying out the text, I wasn't loving the look of the border how I originally placed it. So I selected both files and chose the horizontal flip option. In order to get a smooth engrave on the lettering without having to worry about an overlap, as you can see in the A, S, H in wash, I created the words with individual letters. That way, I can go back and use the Boolean union function to get one connected word. I did keep the original word for spacing until I was done laying out the letters. My first attempt for the engraving was using a carbide bit number 302, which is a 60-degree V-bit. This actually ended up being too large for how small the piece was. I changed it out for a 30-degree V-bit. To create the cutout toolpath, I selected the border, then I selected the contour toolpath option. Make sure to adjust the max depth to the stock bottom or just slightly off. You can see that mine had auto-populated much deeper than my actual stock. One thing I should have done before engraving was to do a water test on the board, since I didn't notice just how much of a grain contrast there was until after I sprayed polyurethane on the finished piece. but more on that in a second. When doing a detailed piece with a fine-tipped bit, I actually like to run the toolpath a second time, just to clean up the edges and the design. Since I knew I'd be cutting slightly outside of my stock, I added a small piece of MDF to help stabilize the wood. Normally, I would say that adding paint to a piece of walnut is complete blasphemy. But, like I mentioned earlier, after adding the poly, everything was just really dark. So what I did was to add some watered down white acrylic paint into a fine-tipped bottle and flooded the lines. After the paint was dry, I sanded down the piece one more time, just to remove any extra paint. That way, the lines would stay sharp. I always recommend using your air compressor after sanding. That way, you can remove any dust particles from the wood grain.
All right, just like that, you have a great gift to commemorate a very interesting year. So I hope you all have happy holidays. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.